All right, YouTube, this is your boy RCD coming right back at you with another video featuring my Red Cat Racing Terremoto 10. This is the version 2 of this vehicle. Okay, so as the title of the video entails, today I'm going to be talking about shock oil alternatives. Now I know that I'm going to get beat up in the comment section below about some of the things that I'm about to say here, but hey, it is what it is. I'm just being straight up and honest with you guys. This stuff worked for me. I'm comfortable with it. I'm satisfied with it. I'm just trying to share it for someone who's in a similar situation. All right, let's get to it. All right, before I continue, I just want to say, for one, I am not in any way associated or affiliated with Red Cat Racing, Lucas, Transmission Fix, Prestone, or Valvoline in any way. They do not pay me. I bought all this stuff on my own. Okay, now that that stuff is out of the way. Okay, so this is what I do. When I first got this vehicle right here, the truck ran perfectly fine. However, this is not my first RC vehicle, so I did know a thing or two about shock oils and different weights of the oils and how they do affect the suspension. And I did know what type of suspension or ride or feel that I wanted from this vehicle, and I just wasn't getting it with the stock oils that was in the shocks right here. So what I did was the same thing that I did with my previous vehicle. As I went in them in the shocks, and I look at the viscosity of the oils that was in it, the thickness of it, and what I did from there is that I added or took away some things from it. I either thinned it out or I made it a little bit thicker. Now, if you see in the back here, what this is, I don't know how many automotive guys that I have out there watching this right here, but this is a transmission fix by Lucas. Lucas makes a slew of things from oils to gas treatments, things of that nature. So basically what this thing is, it's a very, 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 very thick type of transmission fluid. That's pretty much what I think that it is. It's some type of, I don't know, this stuff is like sludge almost. Now, when I was comparing, the only thing I can compare this to right here is if you were to get some diff oil, get some diff oil or shock oil. And if you were to compare the weight of this stuff to some actual formulated diff oil or shock oil, this would be about 1,000 right here. Not 50, not 60, not 100, but more like 1,000 weight for this right here. This stuff is thick, thick, thick. I can give you an example of that. All right, so here I am. I'm back right here with just an empty little spray top thing here. I got off from just got out the porch, and I'm gonna give you guys an example of just how thick this this transmission fix or slip stuff is. If you was to look in this bottle, I don't know how greatly you guys can appreciate this, but look at that. That stuff is freaking thick, man. It is thick, okay? Now, I know, like I said, I know I'm going to get beat up in the comment sections below for using this right here, because I know that this is not specifically formulated for RC shocks, and guys, I get it, okay? I understand that. But for someone who's on a budget and who's already dumped so much money into their vehicle already, sometimes things like this can be a very, economical or financially sound decision, if you want to do your hobby and still save money, So what I would do, like I was saying at first, I would take what was already here in the shock, and if it wasn't thick enough, if I want to increase the viscosity of it, what I would do, or the thickness of it, what I would do is I would just add a little bit of this goo that came out of that bottle just now. Look at that. Look how slow that is. That is thick. And it doesn't take much. Just a little bit. Take a little bit out of here. Mix it with this until you get the thickness that you want. And boom, you got the dampening effect that you want from your shocks. And that's pretty much how I do it. Now, how much did this stuff cost? This is very, very, very expensive. I think this bottle cost me like 10 bucks. But this is something I already got laying around the house. I bought this stuff, a few years ago because I was having transmission issues, and it's just been sitting around the house ever since. So I've already got my uses out of this. I already got my money out of this. So if you just have something like, in the case of me, I had this laying around, and there it is. This $10 is it's a $10 to keep on giving. It fixed my transmission. Well, not really, but it helped me out with my transmission till I can get it fixed. And also it's helping me out in my RC stuff. Now, I probably would never use all this stuff, but at the same time, I got it in case I needed to keep doing stuff like this with. And no, my shocks don't leak. My shocks haven't been damaged by it that I can see or anything. But, I don't know. I'm not an expert at this stuff. You guys can leave a comment in the section below if you want to give me a tip on why to either continue using this or to not to discontinue using it. But anyway, next on the list is the power steering fluid. The power steering fluid is another something that's at that viscosity as to where at one point I had used this in some shocks because the oil in here, or the viscosity of it, was perfectly fine. So I just had this in here at one point. But I didn't like the fact that on a heavy vehicle like this, I couldn't use something like this. It's just too thin. But on my Blackout XTE Pro, which is what I originally used this on, it was perfectly fine. So that's another thing that I was using. And the reason why I have the Valvoline over here, because oils, anyone that has a vehicle and like to do it yourself and save some money on like oil changes and things of that nature, you're going to be buying you some oil. Okay, this is the synthetic, the fully synthetic formula from Valvoline, and it's a 5-weight. So of course it's pretty thin. But in different scenarios, you would need a thinner oil than you would others. So if you just look at this for what it is, these three right here, that's a 5-weight. I don't know what weight I would say this is. Maybe I don't know what weight this would be. Maybe a 20 or 30 weight. Maybe not even that. I don't know what power steering fluid weight is, but I do know that I can adjust either of these that I use with this right here. I do know that. This thing here can thicken up whichever one of these I use. And like I said, guys, to all the most experienced guys out there, if this seemed disrespectful to you guys, I'm sorry. I apologize. This is just what I use. This is my experience. I'm just trying to help someone else out. Moving on. So I got a fourth, second Lucas product, a fourth edition to my my at-home use or my do-it-yourself stuff here. And this is another Lucas product, and it's called Red and Tacky number 2. Okay, so what does Red and Tacky number 2 look like? Let me pop the cap on it for you. Oh, this cap is a little bit hard to pop than I thought. Okay, so boom. Here it is. Let me get you guys in the light so you can really appreciate this stuff right here. This stuff worked miracles in a differential. I had my diff packed with this because when I first did a repair on a diff and opened it up, it seemed as though it had some of this in here, just not a lot of it. So what I did, I just packed it full of it, and I continued to ride, and it seems like the differential, the car even had a smoother feel to it. In the front and rear diffs, depending on how much resistance you want there. Now, it's not going to lock the diff, but it is going to put some resistance there within the differentials and keep the tires from spinning out as much. Now, of course, when you do that, when you do anything to hinder what the differential is supposed to do, and that's what locking a diff is, it hinders what it's supposed to lose. You're going to sacrifice drivability. Or maneuverability is what I should say. Meaning that when you're turning your tight corners and things of that nature, it's not going to do it as smoothly as it used to before, because this stuff is hindering that the ratio that the differential provides as far as your turning ratio is going to hinder that. But anyway, that's for another video. This is just something else. Lucas, like I said, Red and Tacky number 2. That thick stuff right there. I use that in my differential. So anyway, didn't mean to make this video too long, but these are the alternatives that I use. I know I started out talking about just the shackles and end up on differentials and things of that nature. But I guess I will just go ahead and do a whole other segment or a different segment for differentials as a whole. But like I said, that's my 2 cents on this. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. If you did not like the video, give a thumb down and leave a comment section below why you think this was not helpful or ridiculous or whatever the case may be. But if you did like the video and you got a tip, leave a tip. Tips are very, very useful. And I do appreciate everything that you guys have to say about whatever I have to say. So till next time, it's RCD. I'll see you guys next time.